Malala male au eki pe malo lele at Tonga katoa mo me ke proklama ko ya at Tonga World News Network ko Emelini fa au monite ko host at he fini ka ken fa ke Gabriel Bacopa ka to ta fa ni ka ta fa to here pa ko pen podcast ko collapse ology as and we are here also I think Dr. Ray will be joining us. Ik heb de brelul for Geni et our health talk with Dr. Ray, but I know he will be. Hopefully, Dr. Ray, you listen to us, will joining us when you have a chance. And then Brenda is off tonight, going out with Malo ko hono nephew, ka ku ika ki tuku ai wata programa ko ni pepini, ki tau kamata, pe te ato hiva, ki tau kamata. And welcome, Gabriel.
Thank you.
Don't mind me speaking Tongan because I just want to introduce everyone. I
All
mean,
right.
welcome everyone to the Tonga World News tonight. But I'm pretty sure we're going to be start teaching you some Tongans here. So we're going to start with a Tongan song to get us going before hopefully Dr. Ray will be joining us when he's ready from Tonga. So Otali, aho, ui, eki, koau, Welcome back, Dr. Ray. That's Faka Cow Cow. Did you hear that song, Dr. Ray? Changing the mindset, changing the Faka Cow Cow. So, can you hear us, Dr. Ray? Dr. Ray, can you hear us? Look like Dr. Ray is not hearing
Yeah,
us.
I
So,
hear it, but I don't understand it. I'm like Gabriel. I hear it, but I don't understand it.
Right.
I know. That's why I'm saying the song say Liliu
Yeah,
Fagakau is changing the
I
mind.
can hear you. I said I hear the song, but I don't understand it.
Right, right. That's why I'm saying the word
Yeah,
Fagakau and say Liliu means to change the mind.
like me and Gabriel in the same thing. Yeah.
So, okay. Tonight is health talk, Dr.
Ah,
Ray.
okay.
I'll give it to you. And then I know Gabriel have some topic we can also, talk about it. So I'll give it to you, Dr. Ray. Mm.
Yeah, we can go through Gabriel. We go through Gabriel topic.
Okay,
Okay.
Gabriel.
Um.
Yeah, go
Huh.
ahead, Gabriel. What's your
Yeah.
topic?
Is there any other interesting things that you've seen in Tonga in terms of? I remember because last time we were talking about
The moon?
the Nephilim.
Okay.
Are there
Yeah,
any
the Nephilim.
interesting
Yeah.
things? Maybe ancient structures in Tonga, or if you understand what I'm trying to say, like ancient buildings, or do you understand?
I didn't get it. Can you say it again
Oh,
about
I'm
the
saying
Nephilim?
I'm wondering if there are any ancient archaeological buildings in Tonga. Like, let's say Egypt has the pyramids. Different places have different buildings that are very old. Is there anything like that in Tonga?
Yes.
Really?
We have this type of building, and it's come to one of the sacred wonder in the world. This
Hmm.
you have like one big rock, and one rock in the top. Like feel like you are in going inside the door. So we
Hmm.
have this type of like ancient rock. Even you don't know how come they put the big one in the top to make like a door.
Hmm.
So we have like this one here.
Are there any wild animals in Tonga? Like, what sort of animals there are there?
Like we have cow, we have water buffalo,
Water
we
buffalo.
have
Huh?
pigs, we have goat, um, we have cow. Yeah, this the animals we have. But the
No
wild
goat.
animals, the most important one, the pigs. Yeah, that's right, Emily. This is the
Oh,
one.
Haomanga, Maui, a prehistoric megalithic monument with a
Yeah.
maka.
It has a
Fucking
history to that one. I think they said this is the entrance to the king's estate, so,
wow.
but maybe
Yeah.
the people back in the days, Dr. Ray, the giants, because those rocks can be like small to them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. Of course. And if you have the Nephilim PowerPoint, you still have it there with you, or
Yeah,
you send it to Gabriel?
I have it. Yeah,
Oh, you have it already. So you already read some of the study there.
a little bit. I didn't read the whole thing, but yeah. My
Well,
dad, my dad and mom both know Hebrew, so I asked him if Nephilim means fallen ones, and he said, "Yeah." My dad said, "Yeah."
yeah, that's correct. There is a lot of misunderstanding when you read the Bible in English, because every time they have a different version, like a new
Right.
version of interpreter. But when we come to the Hebrew, like it's so clear. If you understand,
Mm,
if you know how to read Hebrew, so the Old Testament is so clear for you to read.
mm,
And the good thing here, Tel Aviv University, they have an open, like online course in the
mhm,
Bible, and during this course, they teach you Hebrew.
mm,
So it's a good one for everyone. Just to go to Tel Aviv University, the public the Bible study or Christian study, and this will teach you the alphabet, like Aleph Bet in Hebrew. And the course they make it like very low, like 100 US
mm,
dollar, the whole course. But at the end of the day, you will learn Hebrew, and you will learn all the background of the Old Testament, which is very good for everyone just to go and have course. Like in English, we call it kill two birds by one stone. Like you pay $100 and you will learn Hebrew, and you will see what's going on in the Old Testament too. So it's a very interesting one.
yeah. I can actually read it. I just don't always understand everything.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. So when we go through the Gentiles or the Nephilim, or what they call it, sons of God sometimes in the English version, so tell you can tell what's going on there with the Nephilim. But for me, there is some stuff on science. Sorry, you know, for me, I believe, like that's what I asked you before. I believe there is some life there somewhere, but how to travel there and how they travel to you is something being locked, so it's not there anymore. But I think maybe it will be open one day, maybe
Right.
in my lifetime or other lifetime.
Right.
That's
Now,
what I believe.
there was a what does it call it? I read a book about I forget what the book was called. I think it was called Many Heavens, and it was I think if you look that up, that book, that I think that's the one. It's called Many Heavens, and it's about the idea of the multiverse, which scientists now try to talk about the multiverse, which is the idea that there are many worlds or many universes, many dimensions, whatever. But but the book goes through this idea all the way from ancient times until today. So it was talking about some medieval Christian philosopher. Maybe it was in the 1400s or
Mhm.
1500s. I forgot his
Yeah,
name, but he was trying to say that there are an infinite number of worlds, an infinite number of yeah, basically infinite number of worlds, and he was saying that the for there to be an infinite number of worlds actually makes the idea of God even more great. Like that he created so many worlds. It actually makes God more great than the idea that we're just the only world and we're just you know so but the point I'm trying to make basically is that to me like sometimes I think oh God just created us and that's it. Well, to me it makes sense like God is so great, maybe he created so many different types of life forms in so many different universes or whatever, and to me it just makes it would make God seem more great. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, okay, we can take this what you've been saying in science.
Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
speaking kind of philosophically here. Yeah.
Yeah. So forget about religious now.
Yeah.
When we have you looked to the space, if you look to the space, there is something called black hole. Have you
Right.
heard about black holes?
Well,
Yes,
of
I
course.
heard
Yeah.
about the
Of
black
course. Yeah.
holes. Yes.
Okay. So black holes here. If you talk about physics, we talk about the gravity in the black hole, that's because the gravity is so high, even the light can't go through this hole. Okay?
Right.
What does it mean? Because this is one of my arguments when I'm in the high school till now, and I try, like, I'm almost. I have this big study since I'm 1993 till now, because I wanna approve my side of view of physics.
Hmm.
Because here we are, the the current science, they said the light come from the sun straight, like, like one arrow, like in one line. But for me, I don't believe it, and I have my science reference,
Wait, wait.
because the light, they have neutron and they have proton, and all of them affected by gravity. So that's why we can create the laser. So the laser, they collect like maybe 1,000 light, then to 100, then to 10, then to 1. That's why the laser, we call laser. So when we go to the black hole, the gravity and the pressure, I'm talking about now gravity and the pressure, because we have the gravity law, which is Einstein put it, and we have the pressure law. So between the pressure and the gravity, these black hole, they have a massive magnetic field, even the light can't go through. And around the end of November 2021, I saw its first time in my life, and this is will come to my study since 1993, which is I found the black hole, like, like suck one of the star. So the star go inside, and it's been recording by NASA, and I watched this video. The star go like, like someone like a socket, or so the star or the sun go inside the black hole, and then the sun is not like rounded, start to be like rectangle, okay, and then it's go inside like and it's first time I see the light from the back of the black hole, okay.
Mhm.
So what does it mean for me? Because the lights come like one light, one line, like a laser. What I mentioned that because I was in, I'm a doctor in my country, Egypt. So we have this person there. He's been died. His car full of the bridge. So in
Right.
fact, when reached the ground, and then he was like all his like squished inside the car. So they took him, come to the hospital, and he's already dead. So they put him in the fridge, and then they called the family. When the family come, get the fridge, and when they opened the fridge, the guy stand up, like stood up. Everyone was screaming and run. Okay, but it was big investigation there. When I asked the guy what happened. He said the last thing he saw, that the car is going down because he's been hitting by trailer in his side. So he's been like pushed from the trailer to down. And then he said, "This is the last thing." Then I found myself on the air and the car going down and my body there and a lot of people. And then suddenly he said, "I go through like tunnel." Yes, this is the black hole. I go through tunnel, and I like this tunnel like grab me so fast. And after this black tunnel, I went to a place like very green and light. I love it. And then suddenly from this place, I went to like something grabbed me to another place, like he goes through another tunnel, was very fast, grabbed to a dark place, a lot of people. He heard them screaming, and he told me like, I know them. I never met, but I know them by name. And then suddenly he saw this light and he heard the sound. I will give you another chance. So he goes through the opposite side of the black hole, and come to his body. And the minute he come to his body, that's where they open the fridge. So this is a very interesting story. This is my dog. You see?
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting story. When I look to the black hole and what's going on in the black hole and what this guy was saying, it makes sense to me. As maybe the science said this like because of the accident, so maybe he's dreaming or something happened to him. But I'm this type to like to put all the dot on the line. But it was very interesting for the black hole for me,
Right. Right.
because yeah.
I was asking. I want to ask. Were you saying that you think that light does not go straight? Is that what you were saying?
No, the light never goes straight because
That's your
it's
idea.
affected.
So you don't
No,
believe
no, no,
light
no.
never goes straight? Yeah.
Look, if you look to our galaxy, or to the other galaxies through NASA,
Yeah.
you can tell the light never goes straight.
So what do you think that implies for our understanding of the stars or for anything? Like I'm trying to understand what do you think that could mean if the light doesn't go straight? I'm curious about that. Because I know you probably
Okay.
know about the Einstein his idea that the gravity bends the light from when it goes past the
All
sun.
all the universe, all the planet and the stars, they they actually swim in magnetic field. Okay.
Okay.
So when you tell me there's something goes straight through the magnetic field, that's what I
Right.
don't believe it. For example,
Right.
in science, if you go high, the temperature go down. Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, if you close to the source of light,
Mhm.
okay, you actually get hot. Just anything you want. Like for example, if you have an oven
Mhm.
and you come close to the oven, you'll feel hot more. You got it? But if you're away from the oven, you start to feel cool.
Right.
So if the sun light goes straight like this to us and you feel hot here, as much you go closer and closer to the source of the light, in fact, you must get hot and hotter and hotter. Not
Okay.
all to go up, you will feel cooler. This another like law, it's against each other in science. Plus,
Okay.
when you study light in science, there is being affected. We have the proton, we have the electrons being affected by gravity. See what happened now? That's why I was talking about the science. But
Right. So
again, this is my own view, and I try since 1993 to approve it till now, but I'm almost.
right. So yeah, I think what you were talking about with your friend was a near death experience. You probably heard that term, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which are very common. You know, a lot of people have had that experience. And usually it's very similar to what your friend's talking about: the tunnel, light, seeing a green place, like a heaven, right? And the thing about it's not your
The
time
Wi-Fi.
yet, or but I thought that's interesting that you're comparing it to a black hole,
Yeah, that's make me interesting to the about
the
the black
tunnel.
hole.
Uh, Maybe
Sorry,
that
my wife is talking
maybe the
loud.
maybe the black hole is sucking the soul of the person, and then like
Yeah.
the gravity taking the soul or something. That's a
Yeah, I'm telling you, maybe. Even if you look to this photo there, when the star go inside, you can see it's all rounded. There is
uh
nothing straight. And
right,
even beside the black hole, it's all rounded. There is nothing straight.
right. Well, that's the interesting thing. I mean,
Can
if
That's
you look
very
at
can I
almost
interesting.
just
Black
well,
hole.
just give me 5 minutes, please, and I will be
Sure.
back.
Okay,
right,
Okay?
that's all right. That's fine. Okay, that's very interesting.
yeah,
Gabriel. I just want to put a picture over there because uh, I had the black hole before, but I wanted to get that information of how I hear it, because I think I heard it from the lady, the prophet in the Seventh Day Adventist. I think she talked about that. So, but I need to get those information. But anyway, this is a lot of interesting stuff that we need to that we're learning more and more, huh?
Right.
So, what do you think of the black holes?
Um, I don't think much of them, but I do read a lot about astronomy and physics. And right now, right here, see this book I have here. It's about quantum mechanics, quantum physics. So I read a lot about that stuff. I was thinking about what he was saying about comparing the black hole to the near-death experience tunnel, and I'm wondering if that idea is plausible. I mean, I guess possibly if the soul or the spirit is so subtle that it cannot escape the the attraction of the black hole. Maybe that's what the tunnel is. I'm trying to think how that could be possible. What he's saying, um, but some researchers think that the mind itself is quantum kind of reality. Quantum mechanics being the study of particles and how they behave. So I don't know what to say about what he's about what he's saying, and I don't usually think much about black holes. Whenever I hear about black holes, it sounds kind of sci-fi to me, science fiction. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying when I hear black hole, I don't know. It's not a subject that usually interests me. You still there, Emily?
Yes,
Sorry.
I'm here. But my question is, what if this is the gateway to heaven? So
Here's the thing about science is that really there's a lot we don't know. Probably
right,
like we think we know with all our science, we think we know, right? Like, but at the end of the day, like, okay, so for example, if you look at most scientific theories, actually, I read in a book about philosophy of science that every scientific theory that ever existed was replaced by another scientific theory,
mm,
right?
that's
So
interesting, right?
yeah, because you can have a scientific theory that works in general, but then
Mm,
there's always things that it can't explain. So then they replace it with another scientific theory,
right,
right? So, for
right.
example, Newtonian physics, what people use for day to day mechanical things or whatever, it works to an extent on basic day to day things, but then it was replaced by relativity, and then
Okay,
so basically what I'm trying to say. Here's actually a good example to explain. The idea of gravity, what people think of it, right, is that the objects, everything's attracting each other, right? But that's an old idea, right?
right.
That's what they teach kids. But actually, the new idea is Einstein's idea of relativity, which includes basically that gravity is actually materials bending space. Like
Did you say venting?
bending space.
Venting.
Like, yeah, if
Okay.
you think of this paper as being space, gravity would be like this phone. You put it on top, and it kind of bends it and curves it, right? So
Okay.
like the sun bending space, and then
Okay.
if the Earth is going around the sun, the Earth kind of travels in the dip that it made in space. So that's the new idea of gravity. But the old idea still works to an extent if you just even mathematically if you talk about it in general, but they don't think that is the more accurate idea theoretically. So long
But do
story
you
short,
think? But do
yeah.
you think the new idea is coming with a new finding? Is that why they come up with a new idea? Because
Well,
they more and more finding new stuff.
Yeah, I mean, because usually there's things in science that they can't explain with the old theory, so then they make a new
Right.
theory, even though the old theory makes sense in general. But then they have a new theory to. So the point is, they're always replacing with a new theory. So what I'm trying to say is that the the idea of the black hole being the same thing as the tunnel that people see, it might sound absurd to scientists today, but scientists 100 years from now will be saying, maybe that's true.
Hmm.
Because the more they learn, the more they think, maybe it's actually true.
Right.
So
But
like
but
you
what
nobody
in,
know, yeah,
but what interests me with the black hole, with what Dr. Ray was saying, it could be like the entrance of our soul to the other side of life. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
That's what I thought he was saying. Yeah,
Right. That's what I thought he was saying. Because once your soul leaves the body, this is where it goes. But like you said, you go through a tunnel and then like in a little bit dark place, and then you ended up in the, so. But
right.
that's very interesting, you know? Mm.
Yeah, I think there's a lot we don't know, right,
Right,
about
right.
the universe, and
Mm.
um,
Yeah, it's a lot of mystery that I would love to know, a lot of this, because it's very interesting when you learn more about this stuff, you know?
I also think that a lot of the stuff that people think, this is my own opinion, my own thoughts, that a lot of the stuff in the universe that people think is just meaningless, like we look at the planets and they have this shape or that shape, or they're made of this and made of that, like we just think, oh, it's just like a meaningless coincidence. But I tend to think that everything in the universe has some sort of kind of role to play, and
Mm.
we don't might not know it, but that's my personal opinion. I think it's none of it's just random stuff.
Right.
But we might not understand it, maybe never. But I think there's always something to things in the universe. Um, um, I also think it's possible. I mean, if you think of if you know about astrology, right now, astrology is considered pseudoscience, and I'm not saying it's true, but if you think about the sun and the moon affecting the planet, um, which we know that's true in science, the gravity of the sun and the moon affecting the tides. The idea of the other planets having some sort of effect on our planet is possible. Now, whether we
Mm.
can predict it, that's something else. Because the majority of the space of our solar system is just space, and then you have these huge planets in the middle of space. So, anyways, Dr.
Doc-
Ray is back.
yeah, Dr. Ray, what I was saying to Gabriel, what if the black hole is the entrance gateway to heaven, where your soul, that's where you're like an entrance for your soul to the other side, you know? So,
Maybe, but I told you, like for me, like when you go to the science things, especially in physics, and if you look to the light component, like you have electron and proton and photon. So the electron and proton, that's highly conduct to gravity. I'm telling you. So you can increase the electron by pushing gravity inside any atom. So that's why if you look there, the light never goes straight for me. It's always like round or half circle or circle. And
mm,
that's if you look to any of the universe, you see like circle, circle, circle. That's because of the wave of the gravity.
Right.
You
So,
got it? But I'm still like, for me, there is some stuff in science. Look, it's come opposite the other stuff in science, and it doesn't make sense to me. And
well,
I'm
actually,
just like, I'm not this type of person, just like to hold it and go. Like I'm very hard believer. I'm telling you.
okay. So I
So
want to
that's
ask.
why I've been doing by myself till I found the solution.
Well,
Yeah,
I think what you say is interesting because I mean, almost everything in the universe is round, right? If you think of the Earth, all the planets, the stars, the sun, round, 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 and like you're saying, the atom, the orbits in the atom, right? Um, so the idea that the light could be
yeah.
twirling is probably, in my opinion, is probably true. We might not detect it, but maybe it is true in some way, right?
And you know
Right.
what's very interesting? The moon reflects the sunlight. Yeah,
Yes, the moon reflects the sunlight, right?
you
Right.
agree with that?
Yes, I agree
Right.
with that.
The moon reflects the sunlight.
Of course. Yeah.
So if the moon reflects the sunlight, it should be reflected. It should be reflected in the same direction. Like the light goes through this one, and the moon has to be reflected same direction, not to
Right.
the other direction to us.
Right.
That's number one. And number two, the temperature inside the moon is so cold than our planet, and the moon is close to the sun. So how come you like you got hot? That's why I said if you go further, like if you go in the top of the mountain, it's very cold than down. But in fact, in science, if you go towards the source of the heat, you will feel hot more.
Mhm.
See, this is a lot of things in science. It's come opposite each other, and that's why it's so hard for me. I'm telling you, I'm very hard believer.
You mean
I'm not
because
this easy person to tell me something and I believe it straight away. If it doesn't make sense to me,
like
that's it.
you mean because why is it cold on the moon if the sun hits it like that? Is that what you're saying? Or
Like I tell you, okay, if you have a mirror in your hand and you
yeah.
put light, you will see the mirror reflect the light in the same direction of your light. Okay,
Right.
but again, but it will give you round more. Like if you have a candle and this candle you want to get more light, you put any mirror and you will see the room will get lighter more because the
Right.
Mm.
reflection will go half circle or round, and that will give you more light front of you.
Right.
Okay, same as the sun and the moon. So if I may say, if you have a straight light reflected to a mirror like laser, it will be reflected in the same way, same direction, and the
Yeah.
same power. Okay, that's why I said the light it never goes through uh, like straight. They always come as a curve because our universe, it's a curve, and everything is curved or circle.
Hmm.
But Dr. Ray, my question, because yesterday you talked about in Tonga, the moon came out the same like the west where the sun came up. How that reflect the
From
light?
the west.
Yes, how that reflect the light when it's too close like that,
Um,
coming up in the
so
same direction.
I don't have an answer for it because till now it just take my brain out when I'm just thinking the moon rays from the west,
From the west, right?
when the sun set from the west too. I don't have any answer for this,
Yeah.
because for
Oh,
me
yeah.
I have to have the answer to with reference.
Right.
But
Right.
this
So
one don't have any reference, only my video.
right. So I was trying to say something
Yeah,
about that yesterday. And I think I made a mistake yesterday.
that's
What I was
why.
trying to what I was trying to say
Uh-huh.
yesterday. Yeah. What I was trying to say yesterday is that
Yeah,
every
like
day.
you know.
You good?
Yeah,
I was saying that every day the moon will like appear
yeah,
an
like
hour.
for example,
Yeah.
um, the world was talking about the nuclear war.
Right.
Okay,
Right. So yeah, what I want to say. Where you go?
Go ahead, Gabriel.
Oh yeah, what I wanted to say is
Okay.
that
You
every
talk about.
day
Hmm.
the moon appears, my understanding, an hour later when it rises from the east. It appears an hour later. So like let's say I don't know what time tonight or today the moon rises, but let's say for example the moon rises at 8 p.m. one night. The next night it might rise. It'll rise like an hour later, or not exactly an hour, but and that's how it usually usually goes. So it rises later every night. from my understanding. So what I was trying to say is that from that perspective, it looks like it's going east or like rising later in the east every night. So I was trying to say maybe it has something to do with that. That in the in Tonga, that it will rise from the west one night. The rest of the world it will not, but I don't know exactly why in Tonga it will rise from the west. But I think it partially has something to do with that, and that, from my understanding, that has to do with the moon's actual orbit around the Earth. That it rises later every night in the east.
That's
So
interesting.
yeah, I'm not exactly sure. So in a sense, the moon has a westward movement, which is the daily movement, and then
Yeah,
has also an eastward movement, right?
I
So
cannot wait to see if Dr. Ray have an answer to that one because that's a very interesting
yeah,
question.
but the idea that the moon one night in Tonga rises from the west, if that's true, I want to see that myself. If that's
Right,
true, I want to know. I want to figure out how to explain that. You
right,
know, I
right.
do. I want to, and maybe that will kind of, I don't know, shed some
Yeah,
insight into astronomy. I don't know.
yeah, that's very interesting. So mm,
I don't know. Are there any Tongans listening right now? Maybe they can confirm what he's saying is true.
uh,
Maybe they. I don't know if they're gonna comment.
yeah, that would be nice if somebody can.
If somebody's listening, they could comment. Maybe.
Right.
Um, yeah. So I guess Ray Ebrahim got disconnected. Dr. Ray.
Yes, maybe we're gonna take a break and then get a
Okay.
song, maybe get a culture one, so I can. And then before we get Dr. Ray back here, um, you like that down music?
Ikaw na nga kapag ko iyay hati kito o nga Ikay ho mo ho o firma o I'm sorry at Kataki kapaw si iho mafaw e kutoka nga tu Fakamule mule ato Kataki iyaw Kua mahino mai e ni aki akiyaw Ayang amoy uwi nga oy o falau Kain e fai pia o whakakaukau Pepe ke mai no mai ha o lau Whakaanu e au ke mai no atu Whai ha o lau moha o whakakaukau Ni kai tuku e hakakaukau Koto osi ngā malia pene watu Si imo oni pelea, hangi halo kumaka ki moana Si ete o fatu ungaan, ete lau ko hokola Whakapoko ke he ayanga si ete whanonga No me kina ete ofa mo oni hoki I whawhunga Ka kua mahi no mai e ni aki ate au Ayang amoy uwi nga oy o whalau Kain e whai pea o whakakaukau Kepe ke mai no mai ha o lau whakakaukau Nei kai tuku e whakakau kakau Koto osi ngā mali e pene watu Si imo oni perea hangi hawa kumaka ki moana Si e te ofatu unga a ni te lau ko hoto koula Whakapoku
Okay, Dr. Oh, it's dropped by
Dr. A got
Sorry about
out
that.
of
I
the.
wanted to get the music so he can come in. But
Yeah.
okay, now he's calling here on the
Back.
phone.
All right.
Okay, okay, Dr. Ray. So I guess you're gonna be
Hello.
okay. So you're gonna be better on the WhatsApp.
Mm.
Yeah, I think the internet is not being fixed properly. There's
Yes.
something wrong there.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just gonna have. I think there was something that Gabriel tried to explain earlier. Maybe I'll give it back to him to
Oh,
ask you about that moon thing.
right.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was trying to say is, I think I made a mistake yesterday. What I was trying to say yesterday is that, from my understanding, the moon rises about an hour or an hour and a half later every night in the east, right? So what I'm trying to say is that this kind of movement of the moon, like that it rises in the east like an hour and a half later every night, that maybe while at the same time in the day, it's all throughout the day, it's also going westward, right? Like the sun going westward, but rising every night in the east an hour and a half later or an hour later. So I'm thinking maybe it has something to do with that. Now, most of the world, you don't see you don't see the moon rise from the west, right? At any time, but apparently in Tonga, you see it rise from the west at least one day a month, right? So, but I'm thinking maybe it has something to do with that. What do you think?
Okay.
Do you understand my point?
Okay. Let me explain to you. There is
Yeah.
no definition of time. No one, we are in 2022, no one can give you a proper definition on time. So in science, in physics, there is no definition in time. Okay?
Right.
When you
Relative.
said, like in America, it's take 1 hour and a half to see the moon. Because actually America, the position of America, it's northeast, not northwest.
Right.
You got it?
Mm.
So if you are in northeast, it will not be 1 hour and a half. If you are west-west, it will be less than maybe 5 minutes or 1 minute. So it depends about your location. So the definition of time in science, even Einstein, he failed to put definition on time. There is no definition on time, I'm telling you.
Right. Now, okay. So
For example,
right.
if you talk about time in physics, you will tell me you take the distance between point A to point B to point B, it's 15 minutes, okay? And if you drive in a speed 60 mile or 60 kilometers per hour, so now you tell me how, like the speed or how long it will take you to cut from point A to point B. But if I put traffic there, so it will take longer. And if I put more traffic, it will take longer. So, in fact, you said, from my home to town, usually it take like 1 hour. But if traffic, it depends about the traffic, can be like 1 hour and a half, can be 2 hours. But if there is no traffic, maybe it take like 20 minutes. So now you gave me 3 times in one distance or in one destination. Even before what happened, the day was 23 hours and now extend to 23 hours and 59 minutes. Then they increase it to 23 hours and 59 minutes and 59 seconds. See how it's going now? before the measurement of the time, they said like the third hour, the 6 hour, the 9 hour, the 12 hours of day, and then the third hour of the night, 6 hour of the night, till you go all the way. So the measurement of the time, no one can, even if you Google the time definition, you can't. There is no definition on time. So for me, it depends about where your location to the sunset or the sunrise. For me here in Tonga, like the time it's a sunset, the time sunrise, like you can see the sunset, the moon rays in the same time. It's not even like 2 minutes different.
Well, there's an interesting thing. I don't know if you know about it. If you've heard of the moon illusion, which I'm just trying to say that there's interesting things about the moon that people have a difficult time understanding. Right? If you heard of the moon illusion is the idea that when you see the moon rise, or when it's near the horizon, yeah, it looks bigger, right, than when it's high in the sky. And I was reading NASA themselves say that they don't know how to explain that. I mean, there's all sorts of ideas put forth about why you see the moon much like bigger. It looks bigger near the horizon than the top of the sky, but NASA themselves say they don't have a definite explanation for that. So so
no one can. But again, what they can say in science, it depends about the location of the moon and how far the moon from the earth, and the location from the moon to the earth and the sun. That's how it can give you bigger or not. Like I tell you, on the 21st of February, I looked to the moon, and mate, it's first time to see this side of the moon. I was like shocked, and I called my wife to come, but she said no, it's Saturday, because I'm the person like to look to the star and to the moon. But in this day, I saw different side of the moon I never seen before. And when the internet back, I googled this day, and I found it's happened like each 800 years or each 700 years. The position of the moon, you actually reflect the other side of the moon to the earth. Like if you look to the moon, you will see same graves, like same looking. But this day when I look to the moon, it's not the normal one I see, And when the internet back, it's first thing I search about this day. And they call it like a blue or something like this. And they said it's happened each 800 years. One day, it's you see the other side of the moon. But for me, it was wow. And I tell you, when I saw the other side of the moon, I can see like the layer of the atmosphere, of our atmosphere, which is usually you can't see it by your eye. You need like a telescope to see the layer of the atmosphere all the way to the moon. But this time when I see the other side of the moon, I saw clearly the layer of our atmosphere. It was just like I sit there, I've been like watching, and I thought like maybe some eruption happened in the moon, or the moon would be explosion again, and I just like said, we are the end of the days, that's it. But the looking of the moon is like so different. I never seen this looking of the moon all my life. But I searched about this, then I found it. They said it's happened each 800 years or 700 years. But I will go back and I will send you in Google, when I Google about what happened on this night, what happened in this moon.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Dr. Ray, I have on the screen the black hole with the stars that suck into it. So
yeah. So this again here, it's open a lot of question, because when you go to the historical places like in Pharaohs or Greek, they was talking about like a door, and you go through this door to the other life. Very interesting. And even the way described, because they said before there is some priests, they can go inside and come back, but not the normal people can go inside the door and come back. So, but these doors is closed. Even, if you look to Genesis, when God punish Adam and Eve, he put both of them out of Eden, and he put an angel to guard there, so they not allow the human to go inside. And then after the big tsunami in Noah's days, God take Eden away from the earth. So there is no any guard. But before there is a door or something, Adam and Eve go through to the earth, and then God put the angel to just like to be a guard to stop the human go back to the heaven. You read this in the Genesis, Emilini, or not?
All I know that there was a angel guarding them, so they cannot enter the Garden of
So
Eden.
it's for me
The Garden of Eden, but then I was not aware that it's another one.
Go there.
Mhm.
You got me, Gabriel?
Yeah, I understand.
Sense, not really.
I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to understand what your point. Like, are you trying to say that like a black hole is a guard, or?
Yeah, like for me, I tell you, the science, it's not like solid subject. If you want to go to science, like for me, science is so easy to understand because I never looked to the science as a solid subject. It's very flexible, and you need to close your eye and imagine. That's it, like 3D dimension or
Right.
VR. You need to close your eyes and imagine what's going on.
Right.
Even you can close your eyes and imagine what's going on like inside the black hole, but I'm telling you, it's so huge gravity and the pressure. And I'm not sure if human can go there, it will be like destroyed to trillion parts or molecule or atom or whatever. But at the end of the day, you never know what behind this, what you can see, just even the biggest star, and that's it, disappear.
Looks like you've reflected a lot about things in the Bible. I want your opinion about something. So I guess Noah, according to the Bible, Old Testament, when the flood happened, if I understand. Oh, wait, I might be wrong. I'm not sure. I know at the beginning of the book of Genesis, it said that God parted the waters from heaven from the waters below, right?
Right.
The waters separated the waters above that.
Separate the waters, right.
And if I remember correctly, that the flood of Noah happened, that the waters from above the heaven dropped down on earth, right? That it was not actually waters from
the bottom
or what we think of the oceans, but it was waters from above the heaven. Am I right or not?
Yeah, actually, it's not heaven. He said that when he spread the water, he called the water above sky, and the water down its water. That's what we call it.
Right.
But what happened here in science, to have this type of big tsunami cover the whole earth, okay, there is something there actually affect the pressure of our planet. And that's make the water go all the way up because of the pressure being affected. You got it?
Okay.
Like, for example, when we have the eruption here, the eruption actually is like explosion, and this explosion creates a lot of magnetic wave. And the magnet wave push the water to high up. But what is make it worse, why the tsunami wave go all the way from Tonga all the way to Alaska, and why the the tsunami waves go all the way to Japan. So it's a huge area, like,
Mm.
you know. But if you look to the explosion of the Tongan volcano, actually the explosion went halfway to the space. That's what they've been described in science.
Right.
So what happened here? When this type of pressure of the explosion and all the gases went halfway to the space, that's create like break the pressure. And when you break the pressure, this make the waves getting worse and worse and more and more. For example, if you have a pressure cooker, like, you know, if you get a pressure cooker and you put a little bit water and food inside, and suddenly you decide to open it without release the pressure, what will happen to you? That will be explosion.
Mm.
Yes. Because you found the pressure was, like, if you try to open it, the safety, that's why they put the safety. But if you break the safety, you will see your hand and everything will be fly. That will be a massive explosion because of the pressure.
Right.
So when we talk about Tongan volcano, because the massive explosion go all the way with different gases, and that's break the pressure law. And under there, we have the magnet wave, or the magnetic field, or the magnet wave happened from the explosion, with the different pressure that's caused this happen of the big waves, come from Tonga all the way to Alaska, even California, being affected.
Yes.
And
Right.
Japan, New Zealand, so all these areas being affected because it's not about the magnet wave caused by the volcano. No, because for me, when the science look about this, they forgot that we have two laws: law of the pressure and law of the magnet
Mm.
field happen. So because all these gases there, they break the pressure of our planet. And because they break this pressure, the tsunami and the waves getting worse and worse go miles from here all the way to Alaska, from here down all the way to Japan. That's because of the pressure. So back again to what happened to Noah's Day, I believe there is something break the pressure. And
Mm.
this pressure, like explosion happen or something, that break the pressure and that's make there's something falling from the sky as water or whatever. And plus this pressure there, because of the massive explosion caused this type of losing of the pressure, that's we have the big tsunami cover the whole earth with the rain.
Right.
Make sense sometimes or not
Makes
really?
sense. But you know the
Yeah.
English Bible only talk about there was rain for 40 days. You know, so uh, you know when it talk about the flood. So if that rain 40 days non-stop, you know, we can imagine. So,
Yeah, and you can
but
imagine the big tsunami where it come from.
right,
Because in the Bible said the water come from under to above, like the water actually come from everywhere.
right,
The water come from the ground, from the sky,
yes,
from the ocean, from everywhere the water comes. And
mm,
I think this because of the pressure. The
right.
pressure laws being broken back to these days.
That's very interesting, Dr. Ray.
Yeah.
Gabriel,
Look, I tell you what, I have a lot of ideas in my brain, but at the end of the day, I have reference for it because
right,
it doesn't matter. You know, when you go to the rock, how the rock leaves the earth all the way to the space. Okay, and sometimes the rock explosion in our atmosphere before even they reach the space because there is something wrong in the pressure law on the body of the rock. It's not like you push the power against the gravity, but you have something called pressure law. And the pressure law can destroy the rock even before our atmosphere. You know, if the rock success to go through our atmosphere layer, will never be explosion. But because there is something wrong on the body of the rock, break the pressure law, that's why the rock explosion. like explode in our atmosphere. Make sense too as well, or not really?
Yes, it makes sense. So
Yeah.
everything in this earth is a law. So law of gravity, law of pressure. So when any of these laws is broken, things happen.
But I tell you, we study science because the science is a lot of law
Mm,
in science. But this law, when you put all the law together, it makes sense or it doesn't make sense. That's why I said people, they struggle in science like physics, chemistry. They don't have this type of imagination, or no one tell them you need to imagine what's going on. Like when I see people struggle in physics, I just like sit and laugh
mm.
because they don't have this type of imagination what's going on or
Well,
to think further.
I read something about the great scientists that in the history of science, usually the great scientists who make a incredible contribution are the ones that start becoming scientists later in life, not the ones that study
Yeah.
it from young, because the ones that study it while they're young kind of become indoctrinated because they accept the mainstream theories as kind of like fact, and it's hard for them to get their minds out of that. But people who learn it more later, their minds are not molded into that. Yeah.
I agree with you, but I tell you, for me, the science teacher in my primary school or in high school, oh my gosh, I gave them like questioning after questioning. And I remember my high school teacher, he told me, you need to go in the research and put all your ideas like copyright. I don't have an answer, but he told me one thing. If you answer like this on the year 12, definitely would be 5. Okay, but I agree with what you've been saying. It makes sense to me, but you need to put your answer according the what we have in the book. So that's not okay. That will make you happy. So I always like put the answer, and I put like one line. I put my private answer. Besides, they answer they want. And, oh my gosh, I give them the headache. That's why I told you, look, I'm very hard to believer.
So, Dr. Ray, as you said earlier, that even the human body can be going through this black hole. So it's more like just an entrance for the soul, huh? Because the
Yes,
soul only can be the that can end
it's
up
a
through
spirit.
this black holes, huh?
Yeah, it's a spirit. It's a spirit.
Mm,
But for me, even the revelation of the medicine, it's all about gravity and pressure.
mm,
If you get the right gravity and the pressure to the cells, you can make the cells live longer, or even the sick cells to be normal cells. It's all about gravity and the pressure. All this, the revolution of the science. This started in 2000. We have 22 years so far in this type of the medicine of magnet field or pressure. All this stuff must to be come all together, come all alone.
so with that new technology that we have right now with the iTerra Care that comes in the frequency, that will make revolutionize. It just come back? Can you explain that a little bit? How that relate to what you just talked about? If we can use that device,
Okay. All the universe created by big magnet field. Okay.
okay?
So all of us live in magnet and magnetic field. Okay. It's different where you are. So if you are an island like Tonga, the magnet or the gravity will be less. That's why you have like people here, a lot of people overweight, but they don't feel it because
Mm,
the gravity of the salt water or the salt solution affect the gravity to make it less. But these people, when they go overseas, they feel like how they heavy they are. Okay, like this day, this guy was 370 kilogram, and he's walking. But I'm telling you, if he's in America or anywhere, he can't be even lift his leg up. But I'm telling you, because we have salt solution to fake the gravity. As your atom, like our body, when you go to the basics of anatomy, our body created by one atom, one cell. So this, when the cells getting weaker, they found the atom get weaker before the cells, and the atoms start to lose electrons from the shell. So the new generation of the medicine to use the gravity to put power in the cell to make the atom gain electron, and that's when the atom move properly, the cells get healed faster. This is the very simple way of the new technology.
So how effective that? Dr. Ray, how effective that little technology to apply to something like in the body that the pain. So when we apply the frequency to that.
Like I tell you, I use the gravity frequency and the pressure.
Okay.
And I have 8 patients with dementia, and the memory is back to them, and they remember everyone and happy. I use it for nerve damage. I use it for MS, and they back to normal. I use it for people they in a wheelchair. I use it for this lady. She's born deaf. Even the hearing aid, when they put it there, she can't hear anything. And I use the gravity frequencies. After 4 times treatment, she heard, and she's 51 years old. You got it? What I meant?
Yeah. But Dr. Ray, my hearing was I checked it one time and they said I lost 20% of my hearing. But I've been using this device, and now I can tell my hearing is I can tell it's better. But for me, is this device that I have right now have the gravity and pressure the same one with you have or no?
Okay. The one you have, they create the frequencies between from the sunlight and the sunshine.
Okay.
So the difference between the sunlight and the sunshine, they have this type of friendly frequencies. So it's be safe for anyone to use it, even without a medical background or health practitioner background, because it's so safe.
Okay.
Even if you use it wrong, it's friendly. But when we talk about the devices, like you go through and change the frequencies and the destiny, okay? This you need like a very long history of the study of physics and chemistry and biochemistry and nanotechnology, because this it's all understand of all the subjects together, because you deal with nanotechnology,
Right.
or nanotech. Have you heard about nanotech, Gabriel?
I've heard of it. I don't quite understand what it is, but
Yeah, I heard of it too before.
Yeah, the nanotech, it's like created from subject called biotechnology. So we have the biotechnology, and from the biotechnology we go to nanotechnology. With the nanotechnology, that's the full understanding of the physics and the chemistry and the biochemistry and the biotechnology with anatomy, okay, in your body to have this type of nanotechnology. It's very awesome. Like, for example, if you have a fracture in your bones, okay, with the nanotechnology, this fracture will be healed in 5 days. Rather to be in plaster for 3 weeks, and then you go to the physiotherapy, and it take like up to 3 months to 6 months. But with the nanotechnology, it takes 5 days only.
Yeah.
And no need for physio, because everything is being matching together.
I don't know if you've heard of an author. His name was Edward Leacheskin. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but he was the builder of coral
About what?
castle. Say again? I don't remember how to pronounce his name. His first name is Edward. His last name is Leedskin or something. But he was a builder of Coral Castle in Florida, which is a place where he kind of tried to imitate the Egyptians and other ancient people by taking huge stones and putting them on top of each other. And he wouldn't tell anybody how he did it. Anyways, he has a book, and I actually have it here. It's about magnetism, and he sort of claimed I think he was from Latvia, one of the European countries, so he didn't speak English very well, but he sort of claimed that magnetism is the fundamental force of the universe, and he claimed that the moon doesn't fall on the Earth because he said the moon and the Earth are both like big magnets, and because one side of the moon, which has the same magnetic force as the Earth, that it kind of repels itself off the Earth, and he said I think he said if it were to be the other side, it would come and fall on the Earth if it flipped over. But anyways, but I want to know your opinion about the idea that gravity and magnetism could be the same, or that
Einstein explained this. Even he have a play, and he get a different type of mess of balls, and he put it together, and he actually move all of them in one magnet field, because the different mass of the ball and different mass of gravity of each one, and then we have the sun. Because what happened when we go back to the Greek philosophy, everything created from everything. So Einstein, he said this one there. We have the big gravity, okay, and this gravity, we have smaller gravity called sun or the stars. And then from the smaller gravity, we have planet. And then from the planet, we have the moon, okay? So everything of this, they have different mass, okay? And different gravity. But all of them, they affect the gravity together. You know, I will play the video. This scientist from Brazil, I think, he's the one played the same thing as Einstein explained. And that will give you an idea how the universe, like, they not suck each other. But in fact, we have the moon come towards our planet. I think like 1 mile each year, something like this. And they talk about like maybe 60,000 years, and then the moon will clash with the Earth.
Mm.
So, but this is another theory. But I will send you the video of this guy. He play exactly what Einstein was explaining, and you can see all different things move together in one role. Because he create a magnet field down there, and then he put all the balls and just like move, and every balls like move in one field, like in one round. They don't come to each other. That's we call like between the gravity and the pressure. Even there is some furniture, you can see this type of furniture, and it's like wow, because they using the law of the pressure and the gravity together to create this type of furniture nowadays. I will send you the video of this one, and you can see. It will take your brain. When you see the table there, and there is no legs, but the table is still there, you can put stuff on the table.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, it's not that. Yeah, I will send it to you to have a look.
Right. But Dr. Ray, I have a question for you because you talk about the what do you call that? The mind, somebody forgetful. So with the device that I have, where do I apply if I'm, start forgetting things? Where do I apply direct? Do I need to apply it directly, or there's a pressure point where I need to point the device to help with the mind?
Okay. So with this one, you have to be in like someone hold the device for you, around 20 centimeters away from your head, and in the middle of your head, you put the device in low heat, and low air
Okay.
for just 10 minutes.
Okay.
That's it. But it needs to be someone hold it for you, because in fact you'll be fall asleep.
Okay.
Like within 5 minutes you will be asleep straight away.
So just the low heat and the low air.
Yeah,
Okay.
because what happened, that will send you to sleep. Even snoring, that will send you to the deep sleep.
Wow.
You'll never even practice in your life,
Mm.
because that's how the brain cells will be activated again.
Ah.
When you go to the deep sleep, very deep sleep, and you're snoring, and once this device stops, you find yourself awake straight away.
So you just only, when it comes to the head, you just only apply the low heat, low air. Okay.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
But it has to be away,
Like
like at least 20 centimeters
20
to 30
centimeters.
centimeters.
Okay.
Not to be just like, but you need someone to hold it for you, otherwise, because when you fall asleep, the device will be falling from your head, broken, and you'll be wake up again and nothing happens.
So, okay. So
Okay.
okay, good. Uh, that's very good. Do you have any
Yeah.
question, Gabriel?
Um,
Well, like,
I don't know what to say. I mean, not much.
today I was learning about the law of pressure because I didn't, I learned about the law of gravity, but not the law of pressure. And what's the other law that you talk about, Dr. Ray? But this is very interesting.
That's what I want to say. I want your opinion about something, Dr. Wright. Do you think that every object, or at least in the universe, has a specific purpose in the universe? Or do you think it's just like you think of Saturn, you think of Jupiter, you think of Mars, and you think of Venus, Neptune? Do you think they're just nice looking objects out in space, or do you think that they have some sort of effect? They have some sort of purpose?
They must have purpose. Even, I've been follow up the photos from Mars, and I've been like to look for it, and even the study of Mars. I've been follow this one because I believe there is something. And when you talk about gravity, we have plus and we have negative. So there is something there, and it's for purpose. For purpose.
Right.
And yesterday they found like a piece of metal, and this piece of metal like a shin, but very big one. But I just like try to follow from where this piece of metal come to the Mars. I just like take my brain, and I've been like read a lot of explanation, but none of them come to my brain. This one, if I feel like there's some Gentiles there or falling, they've been in Mars. That's why we have this type of big metal. And this big metal is not like a block of metal. No, it's someone like being graved the metal to make it this type of shade. I will send you the photo to have a look of it to know exactly what I'm talking about. But I've been following all the space study and the stars and all NASA report and all this stuff.
Right.
I will send you these photos, and I will send you the video of Einstein, of this scientist from Brazil, and you will know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, God never create anything without purpose. There is a purpose for it.
Yes.
But we don't understand now.
Yeah. So
Right.
a lot of them
Everything
still in a
for
mystery. Yeah.
purpose. But one day we will get the purpose as much we know.
Dr. Ray, when you say that, it's also true to me when it comes to creating our body. Every little organs and every little thing in our body have a purpose. So that's why sometimes I felt like the natural medicine is the best to apply for the body, because a lot of doctors will recommend to cut this off and cut that off. But for me, uh, there's every little parts of the body has a purpose, so that's how I believe in creation. So what do you think of that?
Yeah, I believe it, because I study both. I study the orthodox medicine and I study the natural medicine, the alternative medicine.
Right.
But for me, when I talk about the orthodox medicine, in fact, this will be related to the natural medicine.
Right.
Because this is the orthodox one. That's how God create us in nature.
Mm.
And then the alternative, that's come to the drugs and whatever, the other medicine. But nowadays they swap. They call the drug medication, that's the orthodox medication, and the other one alternative. But God create us from the nature, so I think they mixed up or they swap.
Yes.
So I believe that's the orthodox medicine. That's what God create us. That's the natural medicine.
Right.
And then the alternative medicine, that's the surgery or the drugs or whatever, drug medication, that will be the alternative. But God create us from the nature.
Right.
But again, the definition of the orthodox medicine, that's the drugs medication, and the alternative medicine, that's the natural medicine.
Right. And that with the new technology that we have, the itinerary care, I've been listening to them. They say this just to unblock whatever is blocking any blockages in the body, and just to allow the body to heal itself. So because I always believe when God created us, the body was also given that ability to heal itself. So
Yeah. Like I tell you what, even when you study medicine, the liver cells, if you have liver damage up to 60%, like liver damage 60%, it can be healed by itself. If you have the right treatment, the right food, the right diet, and the right food and the amount of water you drink, it will heal by itself within 6 months. So if someone have liver damage up to 60%, if he have the right thing, the 60%, and the liver will be back again to like normal liver, even if you have 60% damage on the liver.
And same apply with the kidneys too, huh? So once you apply,
Okay, everything you activate it. If you know how to activate this one,
right,
you go in. Like for me, like you have a safety locker, and you need to have the code and the key.
right,
Okay, because at the end of the day, we have different cells, we have different tissue, we have different organs, we have different systems. So each one of them, they have different category of the gravity and the pressure or the destiny or the frequencies. But at the end of the day, they all work together as harmony in one body.
right. That's awesome.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll let you guys
Doctor.
know.
Yes, I know your wife
Okay.
might need
But I
dinner
will
with
send you the
you.
videos today so you can have a look through the weekend.
Yes.
And then we can discuss in the other show.
Thank you,
Okay?
Dr. Ray. We appreciate your time and
Okay,
have
thanks,
and
Gabriel.
Thank you.
you're welcome. Take care. Thank you, and say hello to Sissy and have a good weekend. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Bye.
welcome, Fatu. Bye. Yeah, that brings us to anything else you wanted to say, Gabriel?
Um, no, not really. Don't have much else to say.
Yeah, this is an interesting conversation. So we talk about gravity, pressure, and some natural medicine and medical. So we pretty much that's a lot of area. Very interesting tonight. Um, I will just gonna have to say something in Tonga before we end this show, and then maybe I'll bring a song. Kawata e whamalo ka mo toko tape mo mea mahe pōni. Whamalo ki he nā toko tape share te tau programa. Pea ka ki ngā tai pa mo au hifa ke tau senolo o subscribe mai ki ai. Pea koe pōni, koe ate whamalo ma wahe ki he tako tape o ku kei hoko tai pe e mau fundraising campaign ki Tonga. o mo se mai peki mo I he mau screen o watu ai pesi ko ia. Koe mau non-profit e mau atai ho tax deductible receipt ka pate ka donate mai ki e mau um, rebuild Tonga ke help rebuild Tonga ko iai o ku whamalo la het ka moto ko toa pe e whewhin mo mea mai ki e mau program e whewhini pe uh, ata tau fo iwa ke tau whaosea ka tau toki ka pongpongi te tau whoki pe ki e tau program te tau pe I he pongpongi e ko hoko ai hiwa a pongpongi e Pea whamalo atu make ka Dr. Ray he lava mai me Tonga pe he whoki ki he tau kesko e Amerikani e Gabriel pea Kau Emeline te paskani ke paase ke tau programa Malo
Tawafu asi I pea o pea ke siusi I lamanu Langa I asi e te ofa pea a ke nono e kumanatu Wisa asi o ka huane matumai he waha fola Tahine ofa ke o uana ato e ngaloa Tulau kauli o pea tapuane masi aso Tahine oa e tataka leva asi oloto Katuku ke tangi mahi lahe Kua lau lau pa Ola koe ta'ahi Awhai asi oloto Oia, oia, oia uhoto whakapo Koe me a kākape Ta'ahine ka koe loto Oia, oia, oia uhoto whakapo Koe me a kākape Ta'ahine ka koe loto Tahine ka whai sia loto whea O whapeke ke loi mai Peri ki tahi ai ki isino Ke au au hiai Hei ilo na amole ano Whike ina e hai ka whekai He kua ke tā e ofa Koe ia te kitani Tahine te uhiki ni mao Fua ka wahala ka whale He kua te ilo e kita Osi o ka whaka osi e Io caneo mai a te ungali anga vai pe Whaia hofu ula tona kai Tuku ke whai aki e Oia, oia, oia Oia uhoto whakapo Hoto whakape a kākape
lele to programa ke poni ko Emeline Faamunite, and thank you, Gabriel, for joining us tonight from California. And see you again soon. Kuya, mawapalahat kamuto ko tabi. And have a good night. Omeha.